So it is day 4 of the Because We Can Readathon, and we are in the kitchen because we are about to do the video challenge for today, which is food DIY. So make food from a book. I am going to make one of the recipes that Aloni uses in With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acavedo. However, there are some things that I'm changing a little bit because I actually couldn't find all of the ingredients that she uses, and also because she doesn't give amounts in her recipes. So we are going to use When Life Gives You Lemons, Make Lemon Verbena Temblique recipe. As you can see here, she doesn't really have amounts, so we are going to use a recipe that I found on Google, and because I couldn't find lemon verbena anywhere, I have had to substitute for just regular old lemon. That's what I'm going to do today. Temblique is not something I've never made before. It is a coconut custardy kind of dessert, so it sounds really delicious. Let's see how we go. So the first thing that we have to do is whisk the dry ingredients together. So we have corn, it says cornstarch, but in Australia that's just corn flour. 2/3 of a cup of sugar. Pinch of salt, whisk together. This recipe calls for vanilla and cinnamon in extract and powder form, but the recipe in With the Fire on High asks for in its original form. So we do have a cinnamon stick and a bit of vanilla, so we'll chuck those in once we're actually cooking it. Okay, so that's a pretty good paste. Now we add the lemon. We just add lemon peel. Just peel it straight off and chuck it in. Here we go. The cinnamon stick. And now to cook. I have to say, that looks kind of weird. Now we just let it come to a simmer and stir it frequently. So the recipe says once there are small bubbles on the edge of the pan to whisk constantly but not vigorously. That's probably vigorous. I guess that's more like it. Fingers crossed. Mustn't it get too vigorous. Supposed to be looking for a ribbon when I lift it out. That is not a ribbon, that is a dribble. It's getting there. I think I do need to whisk it a bit harder because, or a bit quicker, because it's starting to look a bit bumpy. Slightly more lumpy than I really want it to be, but I think it's definitely done. I might just give a very quick big whisk. I know it says not to do that, but we don't want lumpies. That looks pretty good. I reckon that's done. Okay, so as you just saw, I poured it into my mould, got rid of some of the air bubbles. Now I'm going to cover it in plastic, put it in the fridge for a few hours and hope for the best. Okay, so it's actually the next day and I have given my temblate plenty of time to set. So we're going to try to unmold it now. So wish me luck. I don't think it worked very well. It's supposed to be in this shape. That's supposed to be the top. But it's kind of just a pile of sludge. Possibly because it didn't sit all the way up there. so it just had to kind of fall onto the plate. It's quite tasty though. Well, there we go. That was my attempt to make a food from a book. So I attempted to make the temblique from With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acavedo. Can always try again. Hello. Here we are in the kitchen again. It's actually Saturday morning, so it's been a few days since my disastrous attempt to make temblique. And I know I said that it was kind of a failed attempt, but it still tastes pretty good and it still tastes very coconutty. So I had a brainwave the other night and I've decided that what I'm actually going to do is turn the temblique into one of the toppings for basically a giant cake lamington. So for those people that don't know, a lamington is essentially a square of sponge cake with chocolate ganache around the outside and then coconut, shredded coconut around the outside of that. Often it has a layer in the middle of jam and a little bit of cream. What I have done is I have purchased a standard sponge cake from the supermarket. I purchased it because I have never made a sponge cake before and I think it's actually a lot harder than it would appear. I've actually purchased two and I've purchased some chocolate melts and I'm going to make a dark chocolate ganache and I'm going to cover the little cakes in the dark chocolate ganache and then the coconut temblique mixture that's basically still all runny. Around the outside of that I'll put some shredded coconut. So I'm kind of making a giant monster lamington cake and it is actually in a book. Not a lamington cake, but lamingtons are in a book. They are in Possum Magic. They are one of the food stuffs that Hush eats that turns her visible again. I don't actually know how it's going to go, but hopefully I've salvaged my temblique and also turned it into a dessert that is still in a book. So it will still work for this challenge. So I'm going to make the ganache now and I thought you might want to see how it all works out. Trying to put some of those skills that I've been learning from watching way too many cooking shows to good use. Fingers crossed. Alright, so here is the finished product, my lamington cakes. I happen to think they look incredible. The ganache is delicious, so I think it's going to be really successful. So there you have it. Anyway guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.